Welcome back to the Players First podcast. I am Riley Welch. I'm a junior on the team, and I'm here today with my guy, Nick Richards, Mr. Kentucky basketball himself. I can't go anywhere with this dude without him being stopped and asked for at least 5 to 10 autographs and pictures. Me and Nick have attended quite a few volleyball games together because, as many of you know, he has been dating one of the best players on the volleyball team, reigning SEC Offensive Player of the Year, Leah Edmond, for how long now?
2 years.
2 years? How'd you guys meet?
I think we met at a party, and
I'm sure that's the only party you've been to during your time at Kentucky.
I've probably been to 5 parties in Kentucky. I know you've been to more than me.
Oh, no. I'm strictly in the lodge, hanging out, preparing for practice.
Sure.
Consummate team player. But how did you because obviously you're a very interesting couple to the fans here. How did that relationship start up?
Well, basically, we started hanging out just as friends for a little bit, just going out, hanging out. Then we just started liking each other after a little bit and just decided to give it a shot. Even though we both know it's kind of hard being in a relationship with athletes that go to UK. So we just gave it a shot and it just worked out for the best.
How's it been having someone in your life for so long and so consistently who's also an elite level athlete? Is it nice having someone who you can bounce ideas off of, who kind of knows what you're going through when you're going through the ups and downs of the season?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have another person that understands what people go through during college, because she basically goes through it herself. So when we both start to get like a little frustrated or can't really take the pressure of being a high level D1 athlete, we both talk to each other about it. We both try to help each other through it.
No, that makes sense. They had a big couple wins. They beat Florida, I believe, on Saturday or Sunday, and they bounced back last night and had another big win versus Missouri. Were you at that game?
Yeah.
Were you sitting with?
I was sitting with my family.
No, that's what I thought, because you were not in the
usual
spot where we sit, where the basketball players sit. So we got a little peace and quiet over there. But shifting gears a little bit more to the basketball aspect, we all know you hurt your ankle before the Michigan State game. Can you give us an update on that and how you're feeling?
I think my ankle's close to 100%. It's not all the way yet. But we're kind of short-headed on the team, so you gotta push through it. Mine is not as bad as EJ's. I'm able to actually walk on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually pushing through it, just trying to play as much minutes as possible that I can.
That makes sense. How much pain were you dealing with during the Michigan State game?
Michigan State game. My pain is not like, if I run up and down a lot, it just starts hurting. It's like I have to constantly keep moving. Mm-hmm. If I stay on it, if I stay in too long, it's just gonna start hurting.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. You, how was it? Obviously, you grew up in Jamaica, but when you moved to the United States, you lived in New York, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. How was it getting to open your junior year at Madison Square Garden in such a highly anticipated matchup?
I mean, I've been at the Garden before the past 2 years with Kentucky. My freshman year against Monmouth and last year against Seton Hall. But to actually do it in a big event like the Champions Classic against the number one team and beating the number one team, was probably the best game opener we've had since I've been at Kentucky.
No, it was the atmosphere. I know, just my experience, the atmosphere was crazy. I did not play, but being a part of it was pretty special. We played very well that game, and I think I always said, like, coming into the season, we would use that game kind of as a measuring stick. See where we are. It's not gonna necessarily win us. It's not gonna make our season. It's not gonna break our season, but we can use it as a barometer. And I think that game showed us where we can play. The level we can play to, and then obviously. We continued it against Eastern Kentucky, and it's fallen off a little bit in the past couple games. lost one to Evansville that I'm sure we'd all love to have another opportunity at. And then I think everyone would agree we didn't play our best against Utah Valley. But you personally had another great game against Utah Valley, already with a couple 20-point games on the year versus Eastern Kentucky and Utah Valley. What's going through your mind when you're playing well like that? Like, why do you feel like you're in such a good rhythm during those games?
Honestly, I'm not trying to get the stats or anything. I just really need to do, like, my concentration is what does my team need me to do, and whatever the coach is telling me to do, I have to step up and do it. Because right now, Coach Cal said I probably shouldn't be playing this many minutes. But honestly, the last couple minutes of the game, I was kind of getting winded. I was kind of getting tired. But it was just one of those things you just gotta push through and just gotta keep going. Because kind of short-handed on bigs right now. EJ, he's trying his hardest to get back. He's really have every day. Nate, he's an excellent leader. He brings the vocal leadership towards his team, and it's been going good for us so far. But you just gotta keep moving forward.
I agree. Speaking of obviously Nate, someone who's been around for quite some time. This is his 5th year in college, but now you're kind of in a new role where you're the veteran of the Kentucky basketball program. Your first 2 years, you're a young guy figuring things out, and now you're the guy who's been around here the longest. What is that adjustment been like? How has that shift in perspective been?
It's pretty good. It's not really the same as high school because in high school you play with the same guys from freshman all the way to senior year. I've been blessed to play with a couple guys that have gone pro out of Kentucky, so I honestly know what the coaching staff is looking for, and I can actually help the freshmen that have came in right now make the process a little bit easier for them, knowing what the coaches want, trying to help them out in practice, and trying to help them out on the court.
I agree. So, shifting to tomorrow's game versus Mount St. Mary's, how are you feeling about that game? Are you excited to get back to work? Kind of like, obviously we beat Utah Valley. I think we'd all agree we didn't play as well as we would have liked to have played. And
we just care about the wins. We're not thinking about how we play.
I agree, but we're like Coach Cal always says, enjoy the wins, but we're playing for March, and every day we're trying to get better. And improve. How are you feeling going into tomorrow's game? How have you felt these past couple days of practice have been?
Even though it's short-handed in practice, the coaches have done a really good job figuring out how to set it up so that we all can get what we need out of it. I feel pretty confident that our team will play better than they did the last game. From what I've heard about Mount St. Mary's, they play a fast pace, the bigs are pretty physical, so it's going to be another test for us. We always play to get better no matter what game it is. So it's going to be a fun, interesting game.
You are a Jamaican citizen. That's where you were born?
Yeah.
Tell everyone kind of how your journey was, like growing up, what it was like growing up in Jamaica, being born there, like what your childhood was like. Was like you were a soccer player until you were what, 15, 16?
Nah, I played soccer for what we call it football in Jamaica. But I played soccer for like 2 years when I was like 10 to 12. And I mostly did track and field.
What events?
I was a high jumper, 400 meters, and a long jump. So I honestly did every sport. I did track and field, football. I played a little bit of volleyball. Cricket. What else? So those are the four that I really played. But it always seemed I never played basketball.
And so what many people don't know is I actually went to high school in New Jersey for a year.
Yeah, I did.
And Nick didn't even know that. Me and Nick actually played against each other my junior year of high school. And I showed up on campus. Nick obviously doesn't know me. I was like, you probably don't remember this, but in like 2014, we played against each other. And he's like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I don't remember you. St. Patrick's was, I believe, the 12th ranked team in the country at the time. I know, littered with high major Division I talent. My team was very not quite at that level, but we were good. I think we ended up losing by 12. I did not have a great game. 2 for 12 would have been a lot easier had Nick not been playing. But it's cool getting to reconnect with you all these years later. Seeing never thought we would both have ended up at Kentucky playing basketball in much different roles, but on the same team. So now also I'm going to ask you some questions from fans that I told them you were coming on the podcast, so I outsourced to social media if they had any questions for you. So first one I'm going to go to, this one is from @NateSestina4 on Instagram. Who is your favorite graduate senior on the team?
Definitely that guy Nate.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy.
He's a character. I can say that. He's a character.
He's always great in the team Snapchat group message. You never know what you're gonna get. Always got to be on the lookout. Oh man. Sarah Stallmack1 wants to know, what do you eat most days? How do you keep that 7-foot machine of yours up and running?
What do I eat? Whatever Chef Tony has across the street for us to eat. He knows what I like to eat, mostly chicken and rice. A lot of fruit, some fish, a lot of pasta. Actually, pasta is my favorite food in the world.
What type of pasta? Red sauce, pesto, Alfredo?
Honestly, all of them. Actually, I just like type of pasta I like is spaghetti.
I love spaghetti.
Spaghetti is my favorite one. I love it and everything.
I would, make spaghetti for the team, but we live in the lodge. We don't have access to
I'm
a stove.
I'm pretty sure the guys would love that.
Yeah, no, I love spaghetti. That's the pretty much the only dish me and my dad make. Is if my mom's not home and we don't go out to eat, like, all right, looks like it's spaghetti. But we have fun. Now a few more serious questions. This one's a little personal. What's your favorite tattoo?
My favorite tattoo? I probably say I have a quote on my chest that says, "Be somebody nobody thought you could be." So that really means like. So back in my freshman year in high school, I wasn't really into basketball like that, but I'm just like a competitive person. I don't like being told something. I don't like being told that I can't do something. So they had me ranked as a D3 student in high school. I really didn't know much about basketball, but I know it was always D1, D2, D3, and I hated being called that.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked my butt off to go become a D1 player. And looking back at doing all of that, I just said, I'm always trying to do something that someone's not telling me to be. So I made up a quote: "Be somebody nobody thought you could be."
Is that your own quote, or
Nah, I made it up on my own.
That's pretty impressive. How old were you when you made up that?
How old was I made it up? Honestly, that was my first tattoo. So I wanted it to be something that,
Meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful towards me. So I said that in my mind: be somebody nobody thought you could be.
How old were you when you got it? Do you remember?
I was 18, 19.
Were you already at UK, or were you still in at St. Pat's?
I was 19, and I just got to UK.
Just got to UK. Speaking of something personal still, Caden Eagle 306 Angle would like to know what your favorite movie is.
Favorite movie? I have two. It'll probably be Avengers Endgame or Wolf of Wall Street.
Both great movies. Great movies. Wolf of Wall Street only for our more mature listeners. Avengers Endgame is pretty all age appropriate. Mm-hmm. Did you and Leah go see that together?
Yeah, we did go see it together. We did not know it was going to be 3.5 hours long.
It was an incredibly long movie, I will say that.
Nobody knew it was going to be 3.5 hours long.
It was a very, very long movie. What's the greatest piece of advice Coach Cal has given you on your 3 years on campus?
Greatest piece of advice is, just he gave me a lot, so I'm trying to figure out which one. Oh, okay, I got you. So Kentucky's known for one and done, and obviously I'm not a one and done. I've been here for 3 years. So the greatest advice that he's actually given me, and he said it to every player since he's been here, everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own time period. So don't worry about what anyone else is doing. You worry about yourself and just have a tunnel vision and just keep worrying about yourself and your development and how better you're going to get.
Yeah, I think that's very important because it's, especially with, not to say anything about social media, but it's easy to see, guys who've grown up with playing in the league and stuff like that. And, that's obviously every high-level basketball player, that's where we want to get to. And then once you get there, you want to become a starter, then you want to become an all-star, then all-NBA, then MVP. It's there's always something to strive for. And you always, it's easy to look at someone else and say, why do they have that and I don't, this and that. It's same thing with recruiting when I was in high school. And I think that's very important, is just understand, be happy for the people who have success, but just, understand that you're on your own path, in your own timetable, in your own journey, and that things are going to happen when they happen. And, thinking about it, worrying about it, obsessing about it, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to, hurt you in pursuit of those goals. Yeah. This is a question I just have for you. Obviously, like we talked about, you want to play in the NBA. That's your goal. That's something well within your reach. If you were talking to an NBA GM, what's one thing, NBA scout, front office person, head coach, what's one thing you'd want to tell them, why they should put you on their team? What you bring to an NBA franchise?
Why? I'm a 7-foot athletic guy, guard multiple positions, 1 through 5. Block shots, catch live. I've gotten really good this year at setting my screens. I've actually gotten really better at getting better at screens. Occasionally developing his offensive skills, just getting better at it each year. So I think that's something that coaches and GMs in the NBA love to see, the guys that actually get better.
I completely agree. The growth you've made from your freshman and sophomore year, and then the jump you've made from your sophomore and junior year, I think, if I were a decision maker, just seeing, you want someone, you don't want to draft to finish. You want to draft someone who's going to help you win, but you want someone who's good, but that is still going to continue to improve, is going to work hard, is going to be a pro. And I think you've shown to me, at least to me and our teammates and the guys within these walls, you're someone who's going to work hard, you're going to do extra work, you're going to be on time, you're going to take care of your body. You do all the things it takes to be a professional. And, when all that comes together, really special things can happen. Growing up, did you have a favorite basketball player? Did you ever watch much basketball?
I started watching basketball the year before I started playing basketball. But my favorite athlete, I have 4 different favorite athletes. So my first favorite athlete of all time right now is probably Patrick Ewing. Then it's Usain Bolt. Then it's LeBron James. And not to sound like a cliche, he's probably well, so serious.
Oh, I wish the rest of the guys were here right now. Well, that's amazing. That's pretty awesome that you get to be in a relationship with someone you admire that much.
Yeah. I'm not even joking.
I know you're not joking. Oh, sorry. Most of me and Nick's conversations are interrupted by laughter. Nick laughing at me for the most part. Patrick Ewing's from Jamaica, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he
the first guy to get drafted #1? I think he got drafted number 1. Didn't
Yeah.
He? Yeah, he did get drafted number 1.
Oh, by the Knicks, yeah. Remember it was a big thing, like, everyone thought the Knicks cheated because they got, like, the NBA was rigged because the Knicks somehow got the number 1 pick, and
Yeah, I don't remember all of that.
oh yeah, well that was a big thing.
Yeah, but he was actually the first person from Jamaica to become an NBA professional. We had basketball players, but they never really played in the NBA. They would always go overseas in Europe or China, Russia, somewhere over there.
Have you gotten a chance to meet Patrick Ewing?
Yeah, over a FaceTime call, but that's about it. I text him every now and then just to say what's up, how you doing, how's this team doing.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will be able to have it's probably tough to have a relationship with someone when he's a coach in another high major Division I program and you're a high level athlete playing for a competing program. But that's got to be a special bond, both being from Jamaica and being you've got to be one of the few. I can't really think of another top. You were a top 20 recruit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Are there any other top 20 recruits that I can, not that I can think of, but I don't know everyone from Jamaica.
There's a guy that plays for Illinois right now. His name is Kofi Cochran. He's not a top. I don't think he probably was a top 20 recruit, but I'm not sure.
And you told me Jamaica doesn't have a national team.
No, they're trying to make one, but we're not really like financially stable like America, So it's kind of hard to get funds together to make a national team.
That makes
Well,
sense.
we've done it some years, but to consistently do it every year is kind of hard.
To develop a program and get that makes sense, to get the institutions in place. That's one thing I think. It's easy for us to take for granted just how fortunate we are in Kentucky to have the funding we do and the financial stability of the athletic department and the support of the school and the university and the state. It's something I didn't have when I was at other universities and colleges to this extent. And something you definitely don't have in high school. This is just a completely different beast.
Completely different atmosphere.
Yeah. You just you look to our right and you just got pictures of us on giant screens. Like, that's not normal. Like, that's pretty cool. How would you compare your freshman and sophomore year Nick Richards to junior year Nick Richards? Because junior year Nick Richards is something that I think Cal kind of coined for you.
I probably wouldn't say there was much difference. I'd probably say I'm just a guy that just got better over time, and there's still a lot more for me to improve upon in my game. And I'm just taking it day by day, game by game, actually, just to show what I can actually do.
What did you spend? Obviously, you improved quite a bit this offseason. What did you spend? Where did you spend your time working out, and what did you work on? Like, what were your key emphasis?
So when I went home for 3 weeks, I have a group of guys that I like to hang around.
Was this in New York or Jamaica?
Yeah, in New York. So there's a group of guys that I talk basketball with them, and they're also my really close friends. So I talked to them. There's one thing that I really want to improve upon, and we were like conditioning. Conditioning. So
My strong suit.
So basically, like, we would have workouts before I sat there for like 2 hours, but we would like take a lot of breaks in between, which is not really good. So when we went to, I started working out with this Tobias Harris.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea you knew Tobias.
Yeah.
My dad coached Tobias. Tobias is a great guy. Extremely, extremely hard worker.
Yeah. So he basically said, what you really need to do is have conditioning before your workouts. So he gave me a plan with a bike. It was probably one of the hardest conditioning things I've ever done. And my legs felt like noodles after. And he said, right after that, just go for 45 minutes to an hour hard after your conditioning with basketball. No water breaks in between. no rest, just go 45 minutes hard straight. And I did that for 3 weeks straight, and then I saw the improvements.
Were you in Long Island? Is that where you were at?
Yeah.
No wonder you and Tobias
I mean,
work together.
Tobias and one of my friends, like Tobias' father coached one of my friends, and one thing led to another. He got close with Tobias, and I just started.
Yeah.
I don't really talk to Tobias like that, but from what I've seen, he's a really good dude.
Oh, great guy. And he's another guy who's really worked hard on his craft, and it's paid off for him. Max contract this off season in Philly with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and those guys. Nice, promising core for the future, but nothing compared to the Clippers and Patrick Patterson.
Yeah.
Our listeners don't know this, but we met with a sports psychologist. One of Cal's good friends, Dr. Bob Rotella, came in, spoke with us as a team, and I found that I really took a lot away from that. I want to go into coaching, and so much of basketball and sports and life in general is just the mental aspect, having confidence in yourself, having confidence in those around you. How did you feel it went, and was there anything you really took away from it?
Yeah, I think it. Well, honestly, I'm mostly focused on what he said that a guy needs to do to make the team better. Like you personally, what do you need to do to make a team better? And he said one thing he said is showing up on time, knowing your role on the team. That makes you a good teammate, and it just brings that small piece towards the team. Just having confidence in yourself and trying to build team confidence. That's something that he also said. And another thing that he honestly said was for individually, for yourself, was find that one place that you absolutely played your best at basketball. Just imagine that one place all the time where you play basketball, and you'll see wonders about it. And that's what he said that most pros in the NBA do. They find that one place that they always play with them, no matter where it was, whether it was in a park or an old high school gym. They always just imagine themselves in that one place.
Yeah, no, it was and I felt like a lot of the messages. Obviously, he and Cal go back a long time. He first worked with Cal's teams when Coach Calipari was at UMass, and they had that great team that made the Final Four run. But just Cal always talks about here, you don't have to put up numbers to be successful, to be a high draft pick. It's we do well as a team, you play your role, this is a place where you're going to be taken care of. You're going to have people seeing what you can bring and the value you can bring to an NBA franchise. And I think it was good to just hear that from another person, you hear something from someone over and over again, it's we know how Coach Cal feels, we've seen it. But hearing it just from another person, I think, just reinforces the point in that, we're successful in our role on the team. We'll be successful as a unit, and then a high tide raises all boats. Let's go back to a few more questions from the listeners.
You got a lot of listeners.
Nah, a lot of questions though. I do appreciate that, guys. Here's one. What songs and artists do you keep in rotation for video game music?
Video game music, I would say Drake, Travis Scott, Gunna, Lil TJ, Protege, who's a Jamaica artist, Layla Ike, Lil Wayne, Kanye, not the new Kanye, the old Kanye. And there's this one. And probably, did I say Lil TJ?
Yeah, you did.
I did. Polo G.
This is a question I resonate with
Well,
very personally. How does it feel to dunk? I've always wanted to know. Caden Neff, 23.
I don't know how to describe it, man. It's just something that happens.
It looks fun. Some of us are lob catchers, some of us are lob passers.
You say so.
Another good one is Lincoln Man 3 would like to know how your hair is so puffy.
Puffy?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just wake up, shake it a little bit in the mornings, and I'm on my way.
Oh man. What food do you miss from home the most? Like from Jamaica?
What I miss the most? I don't necessarily say I miss it because my mom cooks all my favorite foods when I was back home. But I'd probably say, okay, so you know how like you have street side corner shops?
Mm-hmm.
We used to have corner shops all the time, all over Jamaica, where you could just get jerk chicken all the time. And I'd probably say it was like a convenience store,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Like anywhere you go, you see these stores, you're gonna see jerk chicken. And I'd probably say just having that convenience of just getting jerk chicken. I miss that. Really, it's hard to find actual good jerk chicken now.
Makes sense. Back to basketball for a little bit, and we'll kind of, wrap things up the next few minutes. How do you feel last year's team was at the start of the season compared to the end of the season? And is that something you feel like will be the same way with this year's team? Like where we're not even the same by the time March rolls around?
Okay, last year's team. Okay, so the first game of the season, everybody knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I think that we were misjudged because of that. I thought that we were a really good team in the beginning. We just weren't ready for that game. And we were better than what people were saying that we were. So after that, we honestly won games throughout that whole entire non-conference stretch. And they lost games. So I thought that we were actually better than what people said that we were at the beginning of the season. And then, moving on towards this, we actually got better and better and better. So I think that we actually were a really good team that year. This year we're actually a really, really good team in the beginning. We just need to find that consistent rhythm.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Because you can see, honestly, when we watched the Michigan State game, from our eyes, you can see in everybody's faces, we just desperately want that win. And I think we just need to get back to that rhythm of that killer instinct that we had in Michigan State game.
I agree. It's also difficult, we have so many new guys and guys with new roles. You're in a different role than you were last year. Ash is in a different role, Quigg, EJ, and then we're bringing in 6 freshmen, bringing in Nate, then we got injuries. So it's hard, when you're not practicing with your full, group of team, it's tough to, build habits. It's tough to build, what your team is going to be like. And I think, we just had, not to make any excuses, but we've not having everyone around and healthy. It's just, it's kind of thrown off our rhythm a little bit. We still got to go out, win, and produce. But
the crazy part about it is that, even though we don't have our full roster practicing, I could still say that everybody on the team is still getting better.
I agree completely. Yeah, like even EJ, though he's not been we have guys not always doing full contact, but if they're out of a drill, they're running on the treadmill, they're working with Jeff. They're always, none of our guys are just laying back waiting for stuff to come to them, which I think is kind of how I describe the Kentucky ways. We got guys who go out of their way. You come here because you got a goal and you want to achieve it. And those are the type of guys we get, those are the type of guys Cal recruits, and those are the type of teammates I have and you have. Speaking of our teammates, how is it, every year kind of playing with a new group of guys, and not only like from a basketball standpoint, but just from a a life standpoint. Like, 'cause, you know, your teammates are the guys you're around the most. You know, good group of friends. It's kind of got to be tough. You know, losing guys every year, gaining new guys, making new friendships. You know, keeping up with old friends.
I mean, isn't it the same every year for NBA do? Like when
Very true.
You get new guys all the time, and sometimes you get new guys during the year.
Mm-hmm. Like we did with Ben.
Yeah. I mean, Ben's been actually a good addition to the team.
Great addition. He beats the crap out of you during practice.
Yeah, he does. But you know, just having new guys on your team, you know, these are just relationships that you're gonna have for a long time. Even though you don't speak to these guys on a consistent basis after they leave here, you know you're gonna. We actually say La Familia here, and we actually mean it once you are part of this program. Everyone before you and after you consider them family.
Yeah, no, it's Kentucky's definitely a special place, and it's a great family to be a part of. You know, we have a lot of. I say this every time we're on, but I love my teammates. I love the coaching staff. I love the support staff. It's a really special place and a fun place to be. We have great fans, great atmospheres. Nick, thank you very much for coming on with me. Is there anything else you want to say?
Nah, I think you covered it all.
Appreciate you, brother.